Welcome to the Unstoppable Pursuit podcast, where we're pushing the limits in business, life, and health. Today, it's episode 26, and we are talking about the 6 ways to enhance value and accomplish more. It comes from the book, What Motivates Me, by Adrian, Gostick, and Elton. I'm Brian Benson, and next to me, well, he's got the largest tramp stamp in the world, Michael Stull, ladies and gentlemen.
It's funny. Check out my IG, Instagram to see that picture. It's not what you think.
It's definitely not what you think. But hey, he wrote a book called Dominate Your Day. You guys are going to want to check it out on michaelstull.com, and we're going to dive right into this today. Let's go.
Constantly comparing yourself to others will wreak havoc on your peace and make you miss out on your blessings and opportunities on your personal journey. Be thankful for what you have and where you are going, because the path is unique to you specifically. Capitalize on your journey. Absolutely live in the moment, as important experiences will arise that allow you to truly live life. You know, after reading this, I think about you and InspireLink. No, honestly, I mean, you know, be thankful for what you have and where you are going, because the path is unique to you specifically. That makes me think of InspireLink. Check out InspireLink.com.
Thank you.
Big things coming for Brian, a.k.a. Benny B. Benson, here in 2017.
Benny B, that's my rap name if you guys ever want to get dirty.
Official rap album.
Yeah.
Brian Benson coming here in early summer 2017.
Man. So, what we did was we went through this book, What Motivates Me, and we found this amazing chapter called Sculpting Strategies for the Achievers. So this is all about how to enhance value and accomplish more. This is so important. This comes from this book. Actually, they did studies to find these things about people who achieve more. So these 6 things we're going to go through are actually studied and researched, and this is what high achievers do. So
we ain't making this up, people.
We ain't making this up.
This is actually science. And 60% of the time, it works every time.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. All right, let's get into the first one. Is achievers make every assignment a challenge.
I like this one. This is probably my favorite, I think, out of all of them, because for me, being an athlete my entire life, like, everything is a competition, and Lindsay will tell you this too, that no matter what we're doing, I always seem to, the competitive spirit comes out within me. And I think that any successful entrepreneur, and not just successful entrepreneurs, but anyone that pursues entrepreneurship, or, you know, pursues obtaining that optimum physique, you know, and level of health, I think that they look at everything as a challenge, because I think it brings out the best in you. You know, so for me, speaking from an athletic standpoint, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, let's say someone said, oh, you know, I need you, Brian, I need you to mow the lawn. Mike, I need you to mow the lawn. I'm already in my head thinking, dude, my lawn's going to look better than yours. Like, I'm going to mow like straighter lines, and I'm going to mow like one way down and one way back, so it has those, you know, those paths. You know what I mean? Right. So making every assignment a challenge, I think, truly brings out the competition, the competitive spirit in everyone, which is a good thing. Yeah,
and I mean, you're exactly right. You hit the nail on the head, like, and that's what I kind of have similar. So, you know, I have, you know, these achievers at this point, like, they love to dig deep, like, they love to expand the project and look outside the box, like you said, like mowing the lawn. Like, what can you do to make it look even better? Don't just go, the achievers don't just go out there and, you know, go back and forth. You're like, maybe, what if I cut it diagonal? What if I did it this way or that way to make it look even better? So they always think, like, how can I benefit more from this? How can the organization, how can anybody, like, benefit more from what I'm doing? Like, they think and question bigger and better rather than anything else. So I love that, and yeah, and then I just had, and then, you know, they love to give it their all, and that's where that challenge comes from, is how can I make it go further and have more like a competitive edge.
Right, so right, and at the bottom, achievers intrinsically feel better about themselves when they give it their all, and that makes me think that, I think that when you make every assignment a challenge, you're taking it personal.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, when you take things very personal, I mean, that could be a bad thing sometimes too, if you're overly sensitive and you take everything personal. But if you're given a task and you take it personal, and then you have more skin in the game, it means more to you intrinsically. You want to be fulfilled, so you're probably going to step your level of game up.
Oh, I couldn't have said it any better. Exactly.
Podcast's over. I just
killed
it's done.
Drop the mic.
I just slayed it. Number 2, sculpting strategies for the achievers, how to enhance your value and accomplish more. They keep score.
And this is something that, you know, my grandfather taught me a long time ago, and other people have said it, but the difference between amateurs and pros are that pros keep score. And I think that that right there is so important because they measure their results. You know, what's the ROI on what they're doing? Mm-hmm. You know, what is what they're doing measurable? Can they see, hey, look, I've made a bigger leap here, or I've done better, or, you know, I think about golf and like Tiger Woods, like I go out there and, you know, I just hack it up. I don't keep score. This guy looks and keeps score on everything he does. They're always keeping tallies, like, right. Oh, how many sales calls did I make today? Like, oh, how, like, right. And measure against that from the day before, so they know they're constantly getting better. They don't stay mediocre. They allow those past experiences and things that they did yesterday to drive them to do better the next day.
Right. Wow, you just killed this one. I don't have much to add to that other than I think in order to be a good achiever, in order to improve, you have to keep score. Mm-hmm. When you're keeping score, you're reporting to yourself. Like for me, when I used to play basketball and practice, I knew the day before if I shot 100 free throws and I made 75 out of 100, I knew today I wanted to beat 75. So you force yourself to grow by holding it's an accountability thing when you keep score. Like people are like, oh, why do you always got to keep score at things? Dude, because I want to be better.
Yeah.
That's why. Like I want to beat my previous self. So if you're not keeping score, you have nothing to compare yourself to from the day before. And you know, and on my reading right here it says, you know, don't compare yourself to others, compare yourself to yourself. That goes hand in hand with keeping score with yourself. When I wake up in the morning, dude, I know what yesterday was like. It was here. Mm-hmm. But today I want to be here.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I mean 100%, man. That's exactly right. All right, let's dive into the next one, and you know, how to enhance your value and accomplish more. This is what achievers do, is they recall early ambitions. I like this one, Mike.
I do too. I like this one because we all have dreams and aspirations, and you know what? The journey of entrepreneurship and us pursuing our goals both personally and together professionally has been very scary at times, and there's times where we both have wanted to probably give up individually and give up together, and we've had to go back and recall our early ambitions. Why the hell did we start the things that we're doing in the first place? You know, because it is easy to give up, and not everyone is going to be successful, you know, but recalling my early ambitions is like I go back to, like, I think about like the things that I'm passionate about, you know, and the things that, you know, again, I'm not driven by materialistic things, but like sometimes I'll recall an early ambition of, no, man, like I want to get like my dream car. That's one toy that I want. I'm driven by a lot of different things, but like, you know, we talk about Lamborghinis all the time. Like an early ambition of mine is to have an exotic car. You know, like that's one materialistic thing. But, you know, another early ambition for me is that I want to impact people, and I know you want to do the same and inspire. So when the times where the going gets tough and we're backed into a corner, I start to recall of why I started this in the first place. You know, not to give out all the information on InspireLink, but for your personal thing, when the going gets tough, you recall like, well, why did I start this? Because I completely want to disrupt the educational learning system. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, and you hit the nail on the head, and like that's why it's so important to go back, because it does bring back those ambitious, like that motivation that you had to why you did this. And I just want to read the 2 questions that are in here to help you recall your early ambitions. And you know, so this is what you should ask yourself as an achiever is, what did I hope to accomplish by working here or starting this business? You know, that's one question you want to ask yourself. And what goals did I have professionally for this job or for when I created this business? So those are two just good questions to help you recall some of those early ambitions. But I agree with you, but it's so funny you bring up that Lamborghini. I talked to someone the other day who's a listener, and I didn't even know they were a listener, and they said something like, oh yeah, you guys, like, he's like, keep working hard, man, like you'll get your Lamborghini. And I was like, how'd you know? He's like, oh, I listen to your Unstoppable Pursuit podcast.
That's
you guys
awesome.
talk about Lambos all the time.
That's funny. That's
So
awesome.
I was like, yeah. So shout out to that. But the other thing that I want to say in recalling your early ambitions, and not only asking yourself those two questions, but also to write down and figure out if you are there or not. When you ask those questions to yourself, write those down. Like, okay, like, am I achieving what I, what did I hope to accomplish by working here? Like, what was that? Like sometimes I think we say things and things, but we forget to write them down. Sometimes we need a little bit more tangible. We need to see it. We need to write it. We need to hear it. So we just keep pounding it over and over and over in our heads. So it's like, okay, yeah, there it is. That's what I did this for. That's why I started this. You need to see it sometimes, Yeah,
and I think, like, let's face it, it's not always fun being an entrepreneur.
No.
Things can get very stale, and you got to do a lot of things that you probably don't want to do, because these things over here are way more exciting.
Yeah.
But when you go back and you have to recall your early ambitions when things are stale, it sort of brings you back a little bit of an excitement, a little bit of spark of, no, wait. I actually forgot why I started this, but now that I'm recalling, like, get out of my way, because now I'm pissed off.
Dude, and you just saying that, like, makes me think about, like, my 2016, like, did I put a lot of energy into InspireLink? Of course, but did I start seeing, did it start to get really hard? Yes, it did, and I know there's more hard times to come, but at times I kind of like fell off the bandwagon a little bit, because I started seeing other shiny objects and other things that I thought. And
that's kind of getting into the next one too, which I wanted to talk about too.
Yeah, so we can just go into the next one, but that's kind of what happened. I mean, so I started looking at, I got shiny object syndrome, like, SOS, like, help me, like, I'm going after that next.
There's tempting parking spaces that, you could have parked in, but you decided not to.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Big Mike wouldn't allow you to. Like, no, Brian, keep driving. You ain't parking in that one.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, I know.
We're parking up in the penthouse suite inside your living room.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly, bro.
Number 4, keep non-essential tasks moving. This makes me think about the balance in 2016 of the important things and the non-important things, but sometimes there are things that aren't as important that you still need to keep moving, but you need to find that balance. So I know you can talk about finding a balance and cutting things out, focusing more on more important things. And 2016 was a big year for us to learn that.
Right, 100%. And yeah, I mean, in the book it talks about how to keep those things like really moving, where it seems like they're dull and they're boring and they're not the fun stuff and it's not the exciting stuff. I can tell you right now, like going through some of my videos on InspireLink, like, and adding in these learning outcomes and stuff. Do I love it? But it's, yeah, I mean, I do, but the editing and stuff, like, I mean, I don't get super excited about that. I get more excited like selling the idea. I get more excited interviewing people, like, but I know that I have to do those activities to keep it moving forward, even though it seems like it's kind of like very tedious and kind of like a mundane kind of like activity. So I have to keep doing that. But what it says in the book, and this is something that can help, is like schedule that time in your calendar. Like, even if it's an hour, 2 hours a week, where it's like, okay, earlier in the week, I'm going to spend like Monday morning from, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. like editing and doing these things, So those are the things that you have to do. And it's helpful when you schedule it and you get a little ping and a little something that says do this, and then it's like, okay, get this done, and then on to the other stuff. But you have to keep that stuff moving, because no matter what you do, I don't care if you're an entrepreneur, I don't care if you're in a business, I don't care whatever it is, you could, like, you love your business, I love my business so much. We know why we're doing it, we're very excited about it. But there is always going to be things that you don't want to do, and I think so many people are like, I don't want to do that. Like, oh, I don't want to start that business, or oh, like they don't become entrepreneurs, or they don't become leaders in companies because they're not willing to go and do the shit that it actually takes to get there.
Right.
And that's what those activities are.
Right. 2016, I think, for both of us was the year of learning things that were not important at all, things that were important that really weren't exciting, and then things that were important and that were really exciting. And so cutting off the things that were not important at all, moving into 2017, and then finding that balance between these are the things that aren't exciting, but I know I need to keep moving and dedicating some time to, like you said, website updating, design, all that stuff, maybe some networking, and then like the things that are really, really awesome, like, you know, like you doing your interviews, interviewing people that are extremely successful, that are winning in life, and doing those interviews is like really fun for you. You know what I mean? So for those that are watching and listening, just pay attention in 2017 to, are you spreading yourself too thin? Because we talked about this off air before we started, that we want to say yes to everything. Yes, 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 yes. Well, you're saying yes to 50 things when you could be crushing it in like 2 or 3 of those things. And that's where you really might be making majority of your money and, you know, using majority of your influence. So that's hard. That's hard. You have to kind of learn that on your own of, you know, you don't have time to meet with everyone that messages you on Facebook.
Yeah, right.
We've talked about this, you know, and giving out free advice to them all the time. Like, in some cases that may be okay, but you really don't have time to satisfy everyone.
Yeah.
So in 2017, I encourage you to kind of, you know, focus on the things that are important, but make sure that you're moving along the other things that, what the book says, you know, they're non-essential, but you need to keep those moving as well.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, all right, the next one is do some influence expanding.
I circled a little spot in here I want to read. It says, we find achievers are usually the most motivated when they are expanding their sphere of influence. So they should identify where their skills need improvement and then seek out every training and educational opportunity offered by their organizations or opportunities that they can find on their own. So for this one, I kind of just think of, you know, continuing to step outside the box, you know, putting yourself in uncomfortable positions and forcing yourself to grow. You know, and I think of networking when I do that, going to events that maybe you aren't comfortable at. I mean, I guess it might be specific to you and your industry, but like, what did you put down for this one?
Yeah,
I'm kind of curious to hear what you put down for this one.
Yeah, no, I wrote like take risks and chances, you know, take every opportunity to learn, like volunteer for something that may be out of your, you know, skill set or realm of like capabilities, just to like get the experience, you know. I mean, put yourself out there. Like, I think about when I, you know, started doing the Facebook Lives like every day, like for almost 200 of them. It was very much like scary at first. It was sort of out of the comfort zone. I didn't know, you know, I wasn't sure if people were going to care or listen. It was sort of like, oh man, this is like, but I saw it as an opportunity to like expand my influence, and I think we've gotten more listeners. I think that what it did for me is it also helped me with my presentation skills in a lot of ways. Like, you're pretty much getting up in front of a live audience like we are now and putting yourself out there to the world. Like, and I always was freaked out about that, but now I just like don't even have any worries or fears about public speaking or getting out there because I've put myself out there so much in that realm. So that was an opportunity to expand, you know, your influence, or at least for me it was. But I would definitely say, like, take every opportunity to that you can when there is a volunteer position open or a leadership position open. Like, be the one to raise your hand. Like, even if it's really hard, even if it's scary, even if it feels like you're taking this massive like risk, like. And even if it doesn't go exactly how you planned, like, I promise you, like, the learning experience is what you're going for. I just encourage people to take more learning, to do more learning experiences in that way. Yeah,
it's broadening your horizons, you know. And it could be something like, you know, you wanting to have a greater influence on people, maybe starting a YouTube channel or something. Like, you know, we have a YouTube channel. We started an Instagram page for Unstoppable Pursuit. We developed a Facebook page for Unstoppable Pursuit. Also, we could broaden our horizons and try to, you know, make it a wider influence of the people that we're trying to reach. So I mean, it could be anything, like Brian said, getting a new certification, you know, but just keep in mind that whatever it is, like, that it's expanding your vision of what you want to do. Make sure that it aligns with you.
Yeah,
like,
right.
You know, because we just got done talking about eliminating some of the bullshit stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with your end goal. In 2017, you're trimming the fat. Like, get a certification, or
Right.
you know, volunteer for something that you feel is going to maybe do a good cause, but at the same time, it's going to catapult you in the direction that you're trying to head.
Yeah, right. It's either like there's good networking opportunity, it builds your leadership skills, it builds your public speaking, things that you want. And in here, it gives a good example. It's like we met many who asked mentors or bosses to tutor them every week in specific skills, such as budgeting or cold calling. Like, if those are things that you want to get better in, it's like, you know, take the risk, ask somebody to help you, and start getting, like, pushing yourself to get there. And that's what I think leads us into this next one,
Yes.
which is get a good coach.
Yeah, get a good coach. This one really is good for you, because I know you have a lot of mentors and influencers. And for me, you know, like, I consider my coaches like you and some of the my close friends that I do discuss business with. But I also follow a lot of coaches online, Grant Cardone, Gary Vaynerchuk, Andy Frisella, all these successful entrepreneurs that do offer daily advice on their social media accounts that I read and I actually take value and learn from, you know. Do you want to go into detail on this one?
Yeah.
I know you have a lot of experience with this one.
Well, you know, and I always look for people who can coach or mentor, mentor me in any way. And
you are a coach, damn it.
I am a coach.
So,
I mean, I know what it takes, and you know, what it is, you know, even the best people, I mean, even Tiger Woods, Tony Robbins, Michael Jordan, if you think about all these, the greatest like athletes and you know, personal development people, like, they all have coaches.
And their coaches have coaches.
And the coaches have coaches. And it's so true, Mike. Like, and I think that gives accountability, it gives growth, but it also helps, like, an achiever make sure that they're pointed in the right direction. You know, like, if you think about it, Tiger Woods, yes, he's a very, very talented golfer, and he could get out there and play pretty good, but, like, if he's lined up wrong, if his swings is, I mean, like, centimeters off, where a coach could maybe just tweak a little bit of a movement and see something that he doesn't see. Exactly. Yeah. That's what a coach does. That's what a good coach and a good mentor does, is they see this outside perspective. They could be truth tellers to tell you, hey, you're not doing this correctly. I think that it's so important to your success to either have formal coaches, informal coaches, people you watch online, like, to help you think things through. But I just think that having a good coach is going to help steer you and direct you to where you need to go.
Yeah, because I think, and let's be honest, I think that we may not be as honest with ourselves as a coach would be with us.
Right.
Which I see this in the fitness industry a lot, is a lot of people that do fitness competitions, they know they could write their own diet, they could write all their own workouts, but you'll see people who are in awesome shape that are really experts hire a fitness coach to guide them through their 12 to 16 week prep going into a fitness show, because they know that they're going to get the truth from their coach.
Yeah, exactly.
They may look in the mirror, and I'm speaking from a health and wellness perspective, they may look in the mirror and think, I'm dialed in for this show. This is the best I look. A coach may say, you're pretty close, but I think that we could drop you maybe another 1.5% body fat and get you a little bit leaner. That could be the difference between you getting first place in a fitness competition and getting third or fourth place.
Right.
You know, so I think that, you know, we may not be able to see things on us, like what you said, that, you know, an external coach could give us an unbiased opinion and be honest about it. You know, like, maybe we might get our feelings hurt a little bit if we look in the mirror and we're trying to critique ourselves. So I think it's good to have a coach. I mean, for me, like, I did a photo shoot in the past, and I had a coach here in town do my nutrition for me. I did all my training, but I had him do my nutrition because, honestly, I didn't want to have to think about it.
Yeah.
You know, I've been coaching so many people for so long that sometimes I want to be coached too. where I don't have to put in the mental effort. I want someone else to do that for me.
Yeah, and Mike, honestly, this is something that, just struck a chord with me when you were talking, was be coachable. Be somebody who is good with constructive criticism, who's going to be open to other ideas, who's going to be able to listen, and then who is going to be able to take action, execute on these things. You have to be an open book and an open mind, and you have to be coachable, because I think sometimes we don't want that constructive criticism. We're like, no, I know what I'm doing. I'm in health and wellness. I've been doing this for years. I've studied under this. I don't need a coach. Like, look at me. Like those are the types of things you could have said or thought, I mean, I could have said that in so many ways. Like, I'm like, dude, I'm a great goalie. Like, I was so good at goalie in soccer. Like, I was like, no, nobody can freaking coach. Like, I'm really good. Yeah. But then I was like, oh my gosh, like, once you start getting to the collegiate level, you're like, oh man, if I don't have a coach like pushing me every day, I'm not going to get any better. Yeah. But you have to be coachable. You just have to be open to it. Too many people aren't, and I think that they look at that and they say, "Oh, coach, that's just like stupid. Why do you need a coach?" And that's such an ignorant attitude.
To think that you know everything about everything, because you don't. And for example, like the people that I mentioned, those coaches, they even say to this day, and they're probably worth millions and millions of dollars, they are still learning every single day.
Yeah.
That if you're not coachable, then you're not willing to learn, so you're not willing to be successful.
Yeah, you're not willing to achieve at the highest level. It goes back. I mean, in the book they actually do talk about Tiger Woods. That's why I bring him up. But I mean, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, you think about any professional athlete that's been at the very top, who's been the best of the best. They have a very regimented routine, and they do that through having great coaches and mentors. Period.
100%.
All right, let's dive into the challenge, and the challenge is going to be SMART goals, and this is something that they do say achievers do. So what is a SMART goal? A SMART goal is specific, it's measurable, it's attainable, it's relevant, and it's timely. And also, you need to be able to go back and evaluate and revise as needed. That is your challenge, is to make sure that when you are setting goals, because this is something that achievers do very frequently, is set SMART goals. So make sure that when you do that, again, it is a very specific goal. You're niching, you're getting down to what it really is. The next, you have to make sure that it's measurable. And that's what we say. The difference between amateurs and pros are that you got to keep score. You got to make sure that you are moving closer to that goal. Otherwise, it's not really a goal. The next one is attainable. I'm all big fan of big dreams, but we got to make sure that this is something that's attainable, so we can at least hit it or come extremely close. Make sure it's chunks. Yeah, exactly. Make sure that it's super relevant. Don't just throw something out there like, I'm going to go learn, Italian. Not that I don't want to, but it's like that's not relevant for what I'm trying to accomplish in my life.
Next podcast, next Thursday, will be spoken in all Italian, by the way. Courtesy of Brian. Pressure's on.
Buonasera. All right. And then timely. So make sure that there's at least, it's time bound. Make sure that there's something that you're fighting against. Hey, look, I need to achieve this by when. Don't say, I want a Lamborghini, and then just throw it out there. I want a freaking Lamborghini in 5 years. Like, that is it. Period. Like, it is in 5 years. You will see Benny B, with pigeons flying out. The pigeons. The smoke.
Brian Benson rolls up to Blue Martini for a happy hour. He can afford the Lambo, but he wants them $3, 50% off martinis.
Right. That's exactly right. And then just always make sure you're going back and evaluating and revising. So, if things change, if your career changes, if your business pivots, you need to make sure you're evaluating and revising. That's it.
Perfect.
Health tip.
Health tip of this segment is slow and steady wins the race. I know I've talked about this before on weight loss or muscle tone, whatever your goal is. It's a marathon, not a sprint. The point of this one, though, is that I see too many people that lose weight too quickly, or let's say they're trying to get ready for a fitness competition, and they're losing weight and they're losing fat almost too quickly to where they're actually losing muscle too. It's very hard to put on muscle. So you want to obviously maintain the muscle that you put on. So I tell people, you know, it's slow and steady is much better than fast, because sometimes I've often seen it. Like for me, example, one time I went to do a photo shoot and I wanted to lose fat so quickly, and I did, that I got super skinny, and people were like, "Damn, dude, like you lost a lot of muscle too." Like there's a nice little balance on that slow and steady wins the race, so that you're actually losing weight and losing body fat while maintaining the muscle. That's very hard to do, which is why I tell people, when you're doing lots of cardio, or you're prepping for a show, or whatever the case may be, or you're just wanting to get into better shape, I tell people, make sure you're drinking some like branched chain amino acids. I have a BCAA drink that has 7 grams per serving, and I actually sip on that in a shaker cup while I'm lifting weights, which will help you preserve some of the muscle and make sure that you're maintaining your muscle while you're losing your fat, and maybe you're dropping weight as well. So slow and steady wins the race on that one. You don't want to burn all your muscle off too.
All right. That was good stuff. We're going Bucci style.
Bucci is Gucci,
now.
Baby. Shout out to Bucci Gross.
Bucci Gross, Heidelberg. Let's go, Berg. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you. We appreciate you on IG. We appreciate you on Facebook Live. We appreciate you on YouTube. We appreciate you on the podcast. Thank you. Please check us out on all the social medias. We are there. We are ready to rock and roll. We are ready to crush it in 2017. Come with us. Be unstoppable with us. We appreciate you. We love you. And we will see you all on the next episode.